Hey and welcome to the Daily Arsenal News Show. Let's begin with our daily news. Fabrizio Romano suggests 27-year-old Arsenal player is in talks to leave right now. Spanish side Mallorca have now inquired about a deal for Arsenal's Rob Holding, and negotiations are underway for the defender. That's according to Fabrizio Romano, who shared the update on X. Romano also shared that possible solutions remain for Rob Holding in the Premier League. The journalist confirmed that Luton Town made a call to Arsenal on Monday. Romano said, "Understand Mallorca have asked for the conditions of Rob Holding deal today. Negotiations are ongoing. Possible solutions in the Premier League remain after Luton Town call on Monday. Mallorca's holding interest may be good news for Arsenal fans, hoping for one more signing this window. That's because Mikel Arteta's side reportedly need to offload several unwanted squad players before pursuing further deals. Nuno Tavares, another name on the list, now looks very close to joining Nottingham Forest. Adding to Romano's report, it was shared yesterday that Luton Town are looking to loan Arsenal's Rob Holding for the season, and it will certainly be interesting to see if Holding preferred a Premier League stay or a trip abroad to the likes of Mallorca. Holding has fallen quite far down the pecking order early this season at Arsenal, with Takahiro Tomiyasu now fit and Thomas Partey being regularly deployed at right back. There seems to be no opportunity for Holding. Romano says there is an important update regarding Arsenal he can't say yet. Folarin Balogun is finally getting his move away from Arsenal. The American striker is set to join Monaco in a big money deal, and it sounds as though this is a deal that really suits Arsenal. Indeed, speaking on the Here We Go podcast, Fabrizio Romano has been discussing the details of this deal, and he says that the final package attached to this one is worth more than 40 million euros, and there is also a substantial sell-on clause. Romano stated that he is not actually allowed to disclose what the sell-on clause is until the contracts are signed, but he did note that it was a very important, noteworthy clause. Romano shared what he knows about this Balogun deal. He said, "To sell to the Premier League was more complicated for Arsenal because they didn't want to give the player for the same price to Premier League clubs. Nobody was paying that money. The final package will be more than 40 million euros, and there is a big sell-on clause. At the moment, I am not allowed to mention that yet until the contract is signed, but there is a very important sell-on clause. This could be a genius move from Arsenal that makes them millions in years to come. At the age of just 22, Balogun has loads of room to improve, and after netting 21 league goals last season at the age of 21, the sky is the limit for this young man. In years to come, it's not unreasonable to suggest that Balogun could be worth north of £50 million. After all, he is already about to move for £35 million, and if Arsenal have a hefty sell-on clause, they will be laughing all the way to the bank. Keep an eye out for any more news regarding this clause, as it could be an important bit of information." Romano says one of the fastest players around is now swapping Arsenal for Premier League rivals. Arsenal defender Nuno Tavares now looks set to leave the Emirates Stadium on loan at the very least. Fabrizio Romano has taken to X to declare "Here we go" on the Gunners' fullback's imminent departure. Arsenal have reportedly agreed a deal with Nottingham Forest that will see Tavares spend the season on loan. The Gunners are set to earn a fee a bit higher than £1 million for the Portuguese player's loan. In addition, Forest have an option to buy Tavares from Arsenal for a reported £12 million. Romano added that the medical tests are being completed today. Tavares is a very talented player who sadly hasn't managed to make a name for himself at Arsenal. He joined in 2021 amid praise, deeming him one of the best and fastest players in Portugal. That year, agent Boaventura lauded Tavares amid links to Manchester United. He was quoted by TalkSport as saying, "This player can play for any club in Europe, but right now he can't. He has to learn and grow. He is a fast player, one of the fastest players in the whole Portuguese league. He is young. Maybe he is not a player ready for a big one, but he could be in the future. within a couple of years, he can become one of the best in Europe. Tavares started brilliantly with the Gunners, even keeping Kieran Tierney out of the 11 for a while. However, the player went on to struggle in the second half of his maiden season. This prompted Mikel Arteta to send him out on loan to Marseille last term. Similarly, Tavares started really well there, but his form tailed off as the season went on. If he can improve his consistency at Forest, then £12 million will be an absolute steal. Rio Ferdinand reveals angry exchange with Arsenal star. Manchester United legend Rio Ferdinand says he had a private message exchange with Arsenal defender Gabriel Magalhaes last season. Speaking on his YouTube show Vibe with Five, the former Man United and England centre-back bemoaned the fact that players today can't take criticism, with Gabriel seemingly not responding well to some of the advice he tried to give him. Ferdinand is one of the best ever defenders to play in the Premier League, so Gabriel could surely have learned a thing or two from him, but it seems they had a bit of a frosty exchange. Arsenal manager Mikel Arteta has surprisingly left the Brazilian centre-back out of his starting 11 so far this season, but Ferdinand says he stands by the view that he is a bit too error-prone. Gabriel apparently doesn't agree with that view, and it's interesting to hear that he actually got in touch with Ferdinand about this issue. He said, I said that last year and he didn't like it. He DMs me. In the DMs, this is a big thing for me. With the players today, they can't take criticism. Players today, not all of them. I have had quite a few players who have come through their agents, and I have said, don't you get your agent to speak to me, you get your player to come and chat to me, and I will chat to him, no problem. Yes, Gabriel come direct to me, which I respect, but at the same time, I don't think he saw what I was saying. David Simmons says he was baffled by what 21-year-old Arsenal player did versus Fulham. David Seaman has suggested that he found it really weird where Bukayo Saka played the pass, which led to Fulham taking the lead against Arsenal on Saturday. Seaman was speaking on his Seaman Says podcast after Mikel Arteta's side dropped points for the first time this season, drawing with the Cottagers at the Emirates. The draw could have hardly started in a more dramatic fashion. Andreas Pereira broke the deadlock in the opening minute with a potentially missed finish from outside the box. The goal came about after a really poor pass from Bukayo Saka. The 21-year-old had Ben White right next to him, while there were trickier passes he could have attempted to find either Declan Rice or Martin Odegaard. However, Saka ended up smashing the ball between White and Rice, but there was nowhere near enough pace on the ball for it to find its way back to Aaron Ramsdale, and that allowed Pereira to run through and finish the chance off. Mikel Arteta immediately had his hands on his head as soon as Saka gave the ball away, and Seaman admitted that he was incredibly perplexed trying to work out what Saka was attempting with the pass he played. He said, when I watched it back, I didn't even know what Saka was trying to do or where he was trying to pass it, because when you look, there is nobody near where he is trying to pass it. I don't know if he is trying to get it back to Aaron, or I don't know. I just found it really weird where he put the balls. It was almost as if Saka changed his mind at the last second, like when a player decides to cross instead of having a shot themselves and ends up getting the attempt all wrong. In fairness, Fulham did well to swarm around the youngster, and he potentially felt that he was safe to put the ball in that area of the field, but it obviously came back to haunt Arsenal. Journalist shares what he's now hearing about Emil Smithrow and Chelsea. Chelsea just won't slow down in the transfer market. The Blues just keep on pushing and pushing for more and more signings, and now they are reportedly keen on one of Arsenal's brightest young talents. Indeed, there have been some reports that Chelsea want to sign Emil Smithrow from the Gunners, and according to Dean Jones, speaking on the Ranks FC podcast, there may well be something to this. Jones says that he's been told that Chelsea have indeed lodged this inquiry, and while Arsenal are yet to respond to this offer, Jones does expect the Gunners to answer with a firm no. Jones shared what he's been hearing about Smithrow. He said, they are trying to make it happen. I'm told that Chelsea have launched this inquiry to see if they can get this done. Arsenal are not giving an answer to this at the moment, but I'm fully expectant that they will say no. Smithrow is in a bit of a strange situation at Arsenal at the moment. He is clearly a very talented player, but he is way down the pecking order in the starting 11. Jones says that Arsenal will turn down any offers from Chelsea for the player, but in our view, if the price was right, Arsenal should consider this. There isn't a club in Europe that is as prepared as Chelsea to overspend in the market, and this could be a chance for Arsenal to run the Blues. Yes, losing Smithrow wouldn't be ideal, but a huge cash windfall would make this blow much easier to deal with, that's for sure. Arsenal now want a brilliant £30 million fullback. He is absolutely rapid. Arsenal now hold interest in signing Benfica's Alexandre Ba this summer as they still explore options to find a new fullback. That's according to Tip as Blooded, who shared that Arsenal could be a particularly attractive option for Ba. And although Benfica are not in a rush to sell him, they could entertain an offer of around £30 million according to the report. Arsenal have been pushing on with departures within their squad in recent weeks, and reports suggest that is because they still have some targets in mind, particularly at fullback. Of course, Mikel Arteta's plans have been massively alerted by the unfortunate injury suffered by Julian Timber. Timber will now miss much of the season after already looking like a key player in his opening games. Benfica's Alexander Ba would look like an exciting option for Arsenal. He is strong in possession and possesses excellent recovery speed. Although it will be difficult to find a Timber replacement who boasts the same levels of versatility, Bach does have strong characteristics of his own. He started out his career in Denmark for several years, and the 25-year-old then joined Slavia Prague in 2021. Upon further success there, Bach was then purchased by Benfica in the summer of 2022. Fullbacks do look like they will dominate much of the remaining window for Arsenal. Kieran Tierney has, of course, now left on loan to Real Sociedad, and Nuno Tavares now looks almost certain to join Nottingham Forest. And whilst not a fullback, Rob Holding is another player who now looks to be departing the Emirates. Should Arsenal sanction deals for all of those mentioned, then they will surely take to the market later on, and it therefore would not be a surprise to see Arsenal make a move for Benfica's brilliant Bah. There is still a lot of moving pieces for Arsenal before deadline day, but they may be starting to fall into place. Extraordinary player would welcome a chance to join Arsenal as Edu considers making late bid. Arsenal could make a move to bring Eric Garcia in on loan at the end of the transfer window, and the Barcelona defender is keen to make the switch. That's according to a report from the Daily Star, which notes that the Gunners tried to sign the 22-year-old before his switch to Camp Nou. Arsenal are eyeing Eric Garcia after losing summer signing Julian Timber to a serious injury. The Dutchman sustained the injury in the opening day win over Nottingham Forest, and he now faces months on the sidelines. The Daily Star reports that Arsenal could make a move to sign the centre-back on loan before the deadline. Mikel Arteta knows the youngster from their time together at Manchester City, and it seems that Garcia is keen to make the switch. According to the report, Garcia is ready to return to the Premier League, having only made 15 starts in La Liga last season, and Barca are also open to letting the defender move on. A loan move could be a really smart piece of business for Arsenal. He has previously been labelled an extraordinary talent, and like Timber, he can play in a few different roles around the defense. It says a fair amount that Garcia has already played for the likes of Manchester City and Barcelona at this stage of his career, and Arsenal are not necessarily looking for someone to be a regular starter. Gabriel Magalhaes is yet to start a single game in the Premier League this season. Garcia would fill the void that Timber's injury will leave, and he could come in at little cost if the two clubs can agree on a loan deal. Certainly, with Arsenal able to find a way to sign David Raya temporarily, you would not be surprised if Edu managed to get a move across the line. I will be uploading daily Arsenal news, so keep your eyes on the channel And don't forget to like and subscribe. I appreciate your support. Peace out.